going on, y'all? This is B. Taylor, and I just got a notification on my car. It's a 2014 BMW 328i that I need to replace the brakes, at least the rear ones. Service required for the rear brake pads. If you can see right there, this is what we're talking about. Okay, as with anything, safety is paramount for all handiwork that you're gonna do. So I have a jack lift supporting the rear end of the vehicle, and I have a jack stand on the right hand side. Also in the front, I have shock blocks. In order to take off the wheel, I am going to need an 11/16 bit. I am using a impact wrench. The brakes, I have the Platinum Euros from CarQuest, and these also come with the sensors as well. Okay, just took the wheel off. One thing I noticed is that there's a lot of rust that accumulated on the inner part. So I had to put a little WD-40 and use a moderate amount of force to pull it off. So it's something to be aware of. Okay, with the wheel off, the next step is to remove the caliper so we can get access to the brake pads. There's two bolts. There's one here at the top, get in there, and then there's one at the bottom as well, which is the same thing. For this, we are going to use a T50 bolt remover, if you can see that, and we're going to use the socket for that. Bolts off. I'm going to start pulling this out and taking off the caliper where the brake pads are. We can see where the brake pad just fell. Side by side comparison with the used brake pad, and you can see the tread that's left on it, which isn't too much, but I still had a little bit of life on it as opposed to the brand new one I'm going to put on. All right, one thing additional you'll need to do if you never replaced brakes before, one thing you'll notice is that when you try to replace the brakes, the caliper has a pressure valve that it pushes in as the brakes wear down. This has to be flushed back in order for the new brakes to actually fit on the rotor. So I have a C-clamp here, and I'm just going to take the old brake pad, I put it back on there for the purpose of pushing back that pressure valve, so I can have it flushed. Now that I used the C-clamp, you can see that the pressure valve has been flushed back into the caliper. So now it's time to put on. Before I put these brake pads on, I am going to lube up around the edges where my fingers are here, as well as the other side and the back. Squeaking. You might hear brakes on the road making noises, and I'm going to lube it up with this. This is some pretty good stuff. You do get the standard lube with the brake pads depending on which kind you get, but this is kind of some aftermarket stuff that seems to work really well, so I'm going to use this. Okay, so we just put the brakes back on, put it back onto the caliper, and bolted it back on to the rotor. You see I put a new clip there, the retainer clip. This is the old BMW one, but I don't know if this has been compromised since it's been removed, so we'll just use the one that they provided with the brake pads. With the other wheel taken off, I have the caliper off, and I've already flushed the caliper back in so that we can replace the brakes. What we're looking at right here is the sensor. I have a new one that I'm going to place on with the new brake pads. They actually, the sensor actually runs behind the back wheel weld as it goes around. So we're gonna have to take a portion of this panel off to remove it. All right, so with the brake pad and sensor removed from the caliper, I'll be able to put the new sensor onto the new brake pad. You can see this is the old one, and this is the sensor that's attached to it. I'm gonna do the same thing with this to connect to the new brake pad. We have the brakes on both sides now. We have the sensor connected. So now it's time to put the wheel back on and check the service required. Okay, the very last step is to reset the brake pad sensor in the car. I'm gonna do that by pressing the start stop button without holding on the brake, without pressing the brake. As you can see, it still says service required. Once this clears here, I will start to press. All right, I'm gonna hold this down. Okay, reset possible. So let me press that again. Reset, yes, I want to reset. Reset in progress. Reset successful. So now, going to the menu, go check the vehicle info, vehicle status, service required, rear brake pads are good to go. If you like this video, please click like, subscribe, leave a comment, and check out the other DIY videos I have on my channel. Thanks for watching.